The human spirit, so resilient, so fragile, a symphony of contradictions. And today, my dear audience, we step into the shadowy corridors of one such contradiction, Avoidant Personality Disorder, or AVPD, a condition both profound and misunderstood, where the longing for connection wrestles with the terror of rejection. If I may, let us embark on a journey to explore its depths, its origins, and perhaps its redemption. The nature of avoidance, a persistent shadow. Imagine, if you will, a young sapling in a dense forest. The sunlight it craves filters through the canopy but never quite reaches its tender leaves. It grows, nonetheless, twisting and bending, shaped by the scarcity of light. Avoidant personality disorder is much the same, a pattern of behavior persistent, pervasive, immutable, and yes, dysfunctional. What do I mean by these grand terms? Persistent. It endures, lingering like an echo. Pervasive. It touches every facet of life, not just fleeting moments. Immutable. It resists change, stubborn as a mountain. And dysfunctional. It does not serve the individual well, especially in the theater of social interaction. Yet, beneath these words lies a simple truth. This is a way of surviving, not thriving. The epidemiology, a glimpse at the numbers. Now, let us don the lens of science. AVPD affects an estimated 1.5 to 2.5% of the general population. A quiet statistic, yes, but consider this. It whispers of lives spent on the outskirts of connection. Women, it seems, are slightly more affected than men. Yet these are not just numbers, they are people. Your neighbor, your colleague, the stranger who avoids your gaze at a cafe. They walk among us, carrying their invisible burdens. The pathophysiology, the roots of avoidance. Why does AVPD take root in some lives and not others? It is, as many things are, a tapestry woven from genetics and experience. The heritability coefficient, fascinatingly, hovers around 0.6, suggesting a significant genetic component. But genes alone do not write the story. No, early experiences wield their pen as well. Children who are hypersensitive, rigid in temperament, or excessively cautious, those who exhibit what we call high-harm avoidance, are more likely to grow into this pattern. Add to this the role of neglectful or abusive parenting, where guidance is absent or cruel, and you begin to see the shape of the narrative. A child dismissed, ignored, or criticized learns to withdraw, to silence their needs, to avoid vulnerability. The symptoms, the mask takes form. Let us now examine the mask itself, the symptoms that define AVPD. According to the DSM-5, 4 or more of the following must be present, beginning by early adulthood. Avoidance of social activities. They avoid interpersonal contact where disapproval, criticism, or rejection might lurk. Need for assurance. They will only engage with others if assured of being liked. Restraint in relationships. Fear of ridicule or shame keeps them distant, even in intimacy. Preoccupation with criticism. They dwell on the possibility of rejection, like a sailor fearing an unseen storm. Inhibition in new situations. Feelings of inadequacy paralyze them in unfamiliar settings. A negative self-image. They view themselves as socially inept, unappealing, inferior. Reluctance to take risks. Embarrassment or fear of failure stifles their willingness to try. It is a tragic dance, a longing to connect, held hostage by fear. The mnemonic, cringes. For those who relish a tidy tool to remember this, let me offer cringes. C. Criticism preoccupies thoughts. R. Restraint in relationships. I. Inhibition in new relationships. N. Needs assurance of being liked. G. Gets around interpersonal tasks. E. Embarrassment prevents new risks. S. Self-viewed as inferior. A mnemonic, a simple frame to hold a complex reality. What then is the cost of living behind this mask. The toll is immense. Depression, anxiety, and substance abuse are common companions. These individuals are more likely to remain unmarried, unemployed, and less educated, not for lack of ability, but for lack of opportunity, stifled by fear. Imagine for a moment the anguish of wanting to connect, but fearing the sting of rejection so profoundly that isolation feels safer. It is not a lack of desire, but a surplus of pain that drives this behavior. Is there hope? Yes, though the path is neither quick nor easy. Cognitive behavioral therapy, CBT, holds promise, helping individuals challenge their beliefs of inferiority and fear. Interpersonal therapy, too, can nurture the seeds of trust and connection. Progress is slow, but even a single step forward is a triumph. And yet, I must caution, not all wish to change. For some, the fortress they have built feels safer than the world outside. It is not for us to impose our desires upon them. We must meet them where they are, with compassion and respect. Permit me to tell you a story, a parable, if you will. There were once two travelers, each burdened by AVPD. The first walked a path of solitude, content to remain within their fortress. They found solace in their routines, their books, their solitary pursuits. They did not wish to change, and that was their right. The second traveler, however, yearned for connection. They ventured into therapy, trembling yet determined. Their journey was fraught with setbacks, but they persisted. In time, they discovered that the walls they had built were not impenetrable. They forged a small circle of trust, and though their fears did not vanish, they learned to coexist with them. Both paths are valid. The question is not which is better, but which is yours. And so, my dear audience, we return to the question that began our journey. What does it mean to wear the mask of avoidance? It is to live in a paradox, desiring connection, yet fearing its cost. It is a testament to the resilience of the human spirit, shaped by pain, yet striving to endure. For those who see themselves in these words, know this: you are not broken. You are a survivor, navigating a world that has not always been kind. Whether you choose to change or to embrace your solitude, your choice is valid. For those who love someone with AVPD, offer patience, understanding, and above all, respect. Thank you for joining me on this exploration. May we all strive to understand one another a little better, to judge a little less, and to love a little more. Until we meet again, take care, and may your journey be gentle.